If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Let's look at 6 things you need to consider before you start your website. Hi, my name is Marlon from marlonmcpherson.com. I've been guilty of not paying attention to some of these things in the past because I've worked on many websites, including sites for myself as well as for clients. And in a lot of the cases, there was a lack of planning going into the project. And as a result, things didn't necessarily go smoothly and a lot of backtracking had to happen because things weren't really thought out properly beforehand. And also in some cases, it could hinder the success of the project itself. In my opinion, the following points should help to make the process easier and also increase your chances of success when creating your website. Okay, so the first thing I want to touch on is that your website is a tool and not the business itself. Again, the website is a tool and not the business itself. So what I mean by this is that in a lot of cases, the business aspect of the operations, the process behind what you do, what you're going to offer and how you're going to present it is not fully worked out beforehand. And people try and work that out during the creation of the website. And the process behind that can become a very tedious task. And there's going to be a lot of stumbling blocks that you might come upon that may need you to backtrack and try and do things a different way. Now, if all is worked out where the business, or most of it anyway, is worked out beforehand in terms of how you're going to operate as a business, then it's just going to be a lot easier to translate that into what you need to have in place to help you run your business properly. All the tools and the facilities that you need to have on your website would be much easier to implement, to work out first of all, and implement. So I encourage you to plan this out, have a business plan, have everything laid out in that, and have all the operations worked out in terms of how you're going to get from point A to point B, in terms of what you're providing and how you're going to package that and present that. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is setting clear, actionable and measurable goals that you can actually focus on and have a direction that you're headed down, and not be sort of all over the place with what you're trying to accomplish with your site. For example, you could say something along the lines of, I want to double my revenue in the next 3 to 6 months. Now that is something that's definitely achievable. That's something that's definitely something you can work on now and do now. And you'll be able to know whether or not you're successful with that come the next 3 to 6 months. Now this is something that's actionable, as opposed to saying, I want to change the world. Now that's a pretty vague and bold, big statement. Now this is something that may be unlikely for you to achieve at this point in time. Besides, how do you start? When you say change the world, what do you actually mean? Defining what success looks like to you gives you something achievable to work towards, prioritize, and helps you to decide on where to focus your efforts. Now, this is one thing that you definitely want to avoid, and that's shiny object syndrome. It can be easy to get sidetracked by the bells and whistles that our site can have and lose sight of the main objective. We may look at, let's say, a competitor's website and think of many things that we may have or could have on our website simply because we think they're cool, or because other sites have it and therefore so should yours. However, I would caution you to think about whether these things are necessary and whether or not they could actually take away from the user experience by distracting users and making your site presentation too busy or cluttered. Now, this is a big one, guys. Know your users. When it comes onto websites, a website is useless without users actually going there and taking some sort of action that you desire for them to take, whether that's to buy a product or to sign up to a newsletter or something to that effect. Now, if you spend time to get to know who your typical users are going to be, you can then fine-tune what you put into your website to give them the best user experience that is relevant to them, and make sure that all the decisions that you make on the site is based around what their needs are and what problems you're actually solving for them, and how you're going to help them to get from point A to point B. Despite what your personal feelings and preferences are, The experience, the look, the feel, and the functionality of the website has to be connected with your ideal users. This has to cater to their needs, which in turn will help to give you the best conversion rates possible, meaning that more people that visit your site will take some kind of action, such as buying a product, for example. Branding, branding, branding. And here I'm not talking about the visual elements of branding like a logo or a color scheme or anything for that matter relating to visuals. I'm talking about who you are as a business and how you reflect that. What kind of perception would you like to have about your business? A lot of people fail to focus on the fundamentals of their branding, actually putting things together in a positioning statement and having something there in a brand guide that is going to guide the way they do their marketing efforts, and your website will be part of your marketing efforts as well. So you have to think of it as an extension of your brand, and without having a clearly defined brand to say, okay, this is who I am, this is who I stand, what I stand for, this is what I represent, which in turn helps you to attract the ideal audience, the ideal user, the ideal customer. Like working on your brand strategy, having one actually, and having a brand guide sets the tone of how your brand is to be presented, and it then helps you to translate that to pushing that out to various platforms, including your website. So this is something that I highly recommend that you focus down on and make sure that you have something in place to know what your brand is all about. Effective marketing. Unfortunately, just building and launching a website is not enough to keep it going. We need to have a marketing strategy behind the website, and this is something again that needs to be worked out as to how we're going to put the site out there and promote it. So whether it is that you're going to do content marketing or you're actually going to pay for ads, you need to have some kind of strategy behind that. And going forward, know that is something that you're going to have to constantly work at to bring traffic into the site. The site needs traffic, but not just any traffic, it needs good traffic. So be careful of where you go to get leads. It's far better to get less leads, but these leads are qualified, as in they are interested in what you have to offer, and it's not just some cold random lead that somehow somebody's able to sell you something to say, I can get you this many visitors to your site. It's not about that, because ultimately that is not going to help you to convert, because these people are not necessarily interested in what you have to offer. So look at a real strategy that is going to work for your industry, your niche, whatever it is that you're providing, and make sure that you have that laid out, because again, you're going to need to know what to put in the site, whether it is that you have some kind of email marketing campaign and you need to have things installed to capture email addresses and to be able to send out newsletters and that sort of thing. You need to have that worked out beforehand, and this again makes it ultimately easier for you to execute on these things. Starting a website is a very big decision that needs to have a well thought out process behind it. Taking the time to work through these points that I've mentioned will hopefully help you to avoid some of the most common mistakes that have been made or are being made, and put you in a better position to win. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if you have some issues with a website project that you may be working on, whether it's your own website or if you're someone that's doing a site for somebody else. I'll try my best to answer any questions, and hopefully other people will pitch in as well and answer those questions if I'm not able to answer them. So do leave a comment with whatever the challenges are that you are facing during the process of creating a website. Please check out the links in the description for a link to my free mini guide on building a successful online business. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the future videos that I've got planned to come out on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.